Hey guys, welcome back to the Holy Happy Hour. I am your host, Josh. And first of all, I wanted to thank Sacrilegious for sponsoring this video. And I love Sacrilegious because their mission of starting conversations through joyful products. And that's what I experienced with it. I'm super excited. You guys can always tell I'm always wearing loud shirts, is what I call them. But I'm super excited for their new polo line that they came out with. Already getting mine ordered. I'm going to be promoting them on the podcast. We're also doing a giveaway. All you have to do is subscribe here, follow on Instagram, and check out the Instagram post for the other ways of sharing and commenting, all that kind of stuff. All of it is just to help spread the word about the channel. And we're going to put together a little goodie basket of your favorite saint socks, stickers, a shirt. We're going to put together a little goodie basket and send it your way. But Sacrilegious, thank you so much for sponsoring the podcast. And you guys can actually get 10% off on your next order. All you got to do is use the promo code HAPPY at checkout and you get 10% off your entire order. So go there, order your Sacrilegious, sorry, and support the podcast in the meantime. I'm coming to you on a Monday. Happy Monday. And I'm coming to you to first of all say happy belated birthday to Mary, Mother of God. Her birthday was yesterday, which is super fun. I think this is the first time I have actually been aware of like, oh, this is like Mary's birthday. Super cool. And so I thought I'd do a video on Mary. Speaking from my past experiences, and you guys have seen some of the videos, like my previous one I did that didn't have a guest in it last Thursday, talking about how Life Church made me Catholic. I grew up in the Protestant world. The one difference between me and a lot of Catholic convert content creators, if that's even a group, content creators that are Catholic now that converted, is they might have had some wild objections to certain. Hold on a second. I'm going to do not disturb. This beeping in my ear. They might have had some wild objections to certain teachings in the Catholic Church. I was very blessed to not have that. I feel like I can be kind of hard headed sometimes. So I'm super glad I came into the faith with no knowledge of it so that I had nothing to be hard headed about. I showed up and, like today's video, we're talking about the role of Mary. I didn't think to myself, like, oh, here we go. Catholics idolize Mary. They're not going to be able to convince me otherwise. I didn't have that. They were talking about the role of Mary. And I thought to myself, I don't, okay, like, what is it? Like, I don't, what is the role of Mary? She obviously gave birth to Jesus, the son of God. But like, what is it? And it was just, an eye-opening experience to kind of just learn more about the role. They started to explain actually some of the objections that Protestants might have to Catholics putting so much emphasis on Mary. And so I thought I would touch on some of those today because my comment section is normally blown up with those kind of comments. So we'll probably do a video on the Eucharist as well because that's the other one. I feel like Mary, the Eucharist, confession, the three topics that you cannot post on YouTube without people just blowing up your comment section. So I encourage you to keep doing that because when conversation stops, that's where animosity really kicks in. So I want to be able to drop seeds in there and know that I'm never trying to comment from like a place of making you feel stupid or making you feel small or whatever. Like I'm doing this to make you feel or hoping to move you a little bit to at least just be open to the teachings of the Catholic Church. And a lot of this just comes from me and my experiences as I became open to it and then started to realize the truth in a lot of this stuff and then fell in love with it. So for me, the teaching of Mary, because that's what we're talking about mostly today, that's all we're talking about today. The teaching on Mary is something for me I'm still learning a lot about. I always remind people on this podcast, this isn't a podcast you come to get all the answers for everything, especially if it's ever a video with just me in it. If there's ever a priest right over here on this side or this side, then maybe we're going to get a lot of answers. But I'm not one to just come and just be able to give you deep theological answers on anything. I'm only talking from my experiences. So, like I said, I came in with no objections to Mary. I had no knowledge on why Mary was so important until I went through OCIA. And then we started talking about the role of Mary. And obviously, Mary's the new Eve in this new covenant. She's the one that has come. Has birthed as a perpetual virgin, has birthed the Son of God, and has opened the door to like eternity. Has said the yes to the angel that appeared to her, said yes to God's will, and allowed us the opportunity to then have an eternal life, have this new covenant through Jesus, this perfect covenant that we now can um, have the opportunity to spend eternity with Him. So Mary's role ends up being really important to us, and is should be really encouraging to surrender yourself and give yourself over to God. I always try to think to myself throughout life, whenever things are kind of going rough and getting super frustrated or whatever, I always try to think to myself, am I getting frustrated right now because I am trying to do my will? Because if it is, maybe that's why I'm getting frustrated. Maybe that's why things aren't lining up right now. Maybe it's because I'm getting so frustrated, or maybe I'm getting so frustrated because my will and God's will are not lining up, and it's causing friction, and it's causing um, us to, or me to, not have peace or not to be able to see where God is trying to bless me. And so I always think to Mary, when Mary appeared to, or when the angel appeared to Mary, and I love that the first thing it says, "Hail Mary, full of grace." And when they appeared, when the angel appeared to her, she didn't question the will. She didn't question anything. She did seem like she kind of questioned like whether she was worthy or not, which I think is a super humble thing to do. But she didn't hesitate on saying yes, like saying yes to the will of God, like that I will sacrifice my body, I will give birth to the new Lord to come, and to be a servant. What is it called? I am the handmaid of the Lord. Be that for the world, like be that servant to God in one of the most sacrificial ways you can be, is to give birth to Jesus, and to allow this opportunity to take place. And so for me, I've kind of gotten to the point where when people are in my comment section and they're so down on Mary, they're like, Mary means nothing. I actually saw a priest one, or a priest. Whoa, no, not a priest. I saw a preacher one time, Protestant preacher, that said, and he's very like outgoing, very yell in your face type person, but he was so adamant on like Mary just being a normal person, Mary just being an everyday person that said yes to God's creation. But he, in his little rant, had mentioned, has said, Mary means nothing. So you shouldn't pray to Mary. We don't pray to anybody except Jesus. Mary was just another person, a good person that said yes to yes to God. But overall, Mary means nothing. And that's not word for, it might not be word for word, so don't quote me on it. And I won't even mention the pastor's name because it doesn't matter. But I remember that being the first time when I heard that, of like, oh, like it hurt my soul. I was like, oh, how can someone say that about Mary? Like, that's so wild. And someone pointed out to me of how we should think about Mary. And even in just the simplest terms of how much respect do we show our mothers? And if I was to come to you, listener, and say, your mother was just someone who said yes to giving birth to you, like she means nothing. She is no special person. She's nothing like great about her. Like, you would be so offended by that. And so the first thing I think of is, even if Mary was that, if you think so strongly on that, like, what does Jesus think of that? You know, Jesus isn't in heaven with Mary right there, listening to these people say this, and Jesus looking over at Mary and like, he's right. He's right though. Like, you're not that special. Yeah, you don't mean anything. No, he's probably heartbroken, and he's probably so, I'm going to say probably, he is heartbroken. He's sad that someone would not see the sacrifice and the special person that Mary was. So it started to give me an idea on why Mary was so important. So as I got into why Mary was so important, it obviously opened the door to the rosary. And this is where Protestants really don't like it. And Matt Fradd, Prince of Aquinas, has a great clip on how you can pray the rosary as a Protestant. And it's so funny because he has a piece of paper and everything. He's like looking down and he's like, okay, well, Hail Mary, Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. And he's like, okay, so yeah, you could say that part, no problem, because that's quoting the Bible. So you could say that, okay. Blessed are thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. It all is good. Maybe you would like not be comfortable saying, blessed is thou among women. And it's just so funny though. Anyway, but he breaks down the rosary and how a Protestant could pray the rosary. Again, me coming with no objections, I started thinking to myself, why are people so against the rosary? Like, why are they so against like showing honor to Jesus' mother, praying to her in a sense? And when I say praying to her, because that's like the biggest term that Protestants use it in a way of like that we worship her and that we put her on the same level as Jesus, which we don't. But pray to means to request, but we're asking her for prayers. So I for a long time told myself I need to stop saying pray to Mary, pray to the saints, because not that it's wrong terminology, but I think that it is always construed wrong. So we ask Mary for prayers. Actually, even in that, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. So I started thinking to myself again, why is this so controversial? And we really have a world that is so set on this faith alone, even if they don't claim to be sola fide, like they are faith alone, thinking that like we only have to go to Jesus. You don't have to go to a priest for confession. You don't have to pray to Mary. You don't have to pray to the saints. Even asking the saints for prayers, asking Mary for prayers is wrong, which is a whole nother thing that I get in the comments section of Mary's dead, the saints are dead. And so it's like, A, they're not. They're living in heaven. People that die that we believe went to heaven, your grandma that died, and you believe she's alive in heaven, she's not dead in heaven. Like, she's alive. And just like you would ask somebody to pray for you, and we do the same thing with the saints and Mary. So I think the thing that's making me so confident in the Catholic Church's teachings is God blessed me with no knowledge and no objections to the faith to go, because so many people, I believe these days, are so hard-headed on what they believe that, and you can tell this when you get in a conversation with someone like this person's not going to change their mind. I got Protestant friends that are so on fire for their faith, which is great, but it would be so awesome for them to start seeing this, like they're in their Bibles all the time, but start putting the pieces together just one by one. It takes a long time, but start seeing that in John 6, he gives us the Eucharist and institutes the Eucharist, and he doubles down on it 6 times. He lets people leave him, and then he just turns to the disciples and says, are you guys going to leave too? Or like that the rosary is biblical. Like almost every single word of it is just a quote straight from the Bible. And the words that are added are still truth. Maybe it doesn't say, blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus, but it was like she was blessed among women, and her womb is blessed. It had to be able to hold Jesus. Let's see. Holy Mary, Mother of God, Jesus, the Son, God the Father, the Holy Spirit. We all Christians should believe that that's the Trinity. Like, so one God in 3 persons. So Jesus is God, and God is Jesus. And actually Jesus says that in as well. With the Holy Spirit, it's all like one God, 3 persons, or 3. Yeah. And so if that's the truth, then Mary, Mother of God, I don't see the leap in logic where people just are refuse to believe that. But I started to get into the rosary, and I started to see how beautiful it was, and so surprised when people were so against it. Like, this is blasphemy. You guys are going to hell for this. You guys are worshiping Mary, and you guys are idolizing her. And I just started to not, I didn't understand. So some of you guys, it's a tough conversation to have. I know you guys are very set in your ways. I just encourage you guys to keep an open mind when it comes to anything in life, but especially when it comes to anything faith related. I would keep an open mind of someone coming from the Protestant faith, because I want to understand how they're thinking, but also, like, if they were to bring some truth to something, I would want to be open-minded to that. I just truly believe in the Catholic Church and the Catholic teachings. And I have been open-minded. I have been Protestant before, and I have settled on this is the truth. So I just encourage you guys to stay open-minded to everything. Be willing to watch these videos, and hopefully I can put in some clarity from my experiences. Like I said, Catholic Answers would be your go-to place if you're looking for a really solid, coming from a very educated person, answer to your questions. And they have a website. It's kind of like Google. You literally can type in, do Catholics worship Mary? And it'll pop up 2 or 3 articles right away from people like Trent Horn and Carlo Broussard, Cy Bennett, like all these great people. I think that was his last name, Cy Bennett. You guys have double check me. That might be wrong. But tons of great apologists that you guys can get some great answers for. So my last thing I was going to, in my notes I was going to bring up is like, why do people, or why should people have such high standards for Mary? And at the end of the day, I think it's simple. I think that you had an angel appear to her. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. God entrusted Mary to bring Jesus into this world, to bring the new covenant, to start the new covenant into this world. She is the new Eve and is someone to be respected in just in that sense alone. But she was there among Jesus the entire time. And 2 examples I can think of in the Bible too that just show like we should have such high standards for her is, one is I love the wedding, where the wedding feast at Cana, and they're there and they run out of wine. And Mary goes to Jesus and says, basically, help them. And what does he say? He says, what is this to me? It is not my time. And she turns to them and says, do as he says. And he does end up doing it. But these people biblically went to Mary to ask her to ask Jesus this. It happened in the real world. People went to Mary to ask her, to request her to ask Jesus something. So why is it such a large leap to think she's in heaven now? 100%. She's in heaven, living in heaven now. Why is it such a large leap to say, Mary, I really need help with this right now. Please take these prayer petitions to Jesus. I don't see the large leap in logic there. The second one is Jesus himself giving Mary over to us as the spiritual mother. In John, he literally on the cross, and he says, behold your son and behold your mother, and gives her over. I know this one, for those hard-headed people out there, are gonna say like, no, that wasn't, it was just meaning like John take care of her, Mary take care of John. But it would not have been that simple. That's not a dying breath type thing to say. John would have obviously taken care of his, what would have been aunt, and Mary herself would have obviously reached out to the disciples for help if she needed it. So they would have been fine. They had this trust in Jesus. They knew it was going to happen. But for Jesus himself to hand her over to John, say, behold your mother, I believe is a great act of charity. So giving us such a great role model of how to be a holy person, how to be obviously a holy woman, a holy mother, but how to be a servant of God, how to say yes when you feel like God's calling you to something, especially those hard things, asking you to give over money to something and trust him with your finances, or to give up something, or to go after something that is maybe nerve-wracking or scary. Asking Mary in her intercession to give you the faith to take that leap and to go for it, trusting that when you are at your lowest of lows, you know that you can go to Mary, Mother of God, ask for her prayers, and ask for her to take our petitions, to put them at the feet of Jesus, and to offer everything up for her. We don't idolize her. We don't worship her. People will probably be in the comment section saying that, and that's okay. Anybody that always comments like that, we add you to our prayer list. Pray for those who are super hard-headed with it, but pray for those who also that don't understand it. Pray for them that they would come to know Mary, that Mary would enter their lives and give that peace and that motherly warmth, love that she does, then you guys that are faithful Catholics, and especially those of you devoted to the Rosary, that you know that she can give. Great things can happen when we entrust our prayers to Mary, knowing that she will take them to the Father and that the Father listens to his mother. Such a great thing. It can be so life-changing. And so I want to encourage you guys that. We'll leave it at that for today. And I hope you guys liked the video. I forgot to say at the beginning, but don't forget, like, comment, everything you do, something little, just like, subscribe. Really easy things like that help support the channel. Every time you engage, it sends it to a few people that may also like it, like maybe some of your subscribers, or maybe it'll send it to random people that watch the same videos as you. That's how the algorithm works. So you guys engage with stuff like this that you think it would be awesome if this video got as much views as a video of people trying to shoot the highest basketball shot off of a roof. I think something like this can maybe be a little bit more impactful, even though that shot is pretty sweet to watch, and you guys know what I'm talking about. But we engage with the channel, helps spread it around YouTube, because YouTube needs more Jesus. So looking forward to doing more of these personal reflections. Like I said, I'm not the perfect person to go to for answers, but I love to share my experiences and the knowledge I have. And I love to hear comments about even more. Like, if you guys have something where like, hey, you could also think of this, like, add to it. Like, I love that kind of stuff. I love reading your guys' comments. I read all of them. Maybe one day we'll be a big enough podcast that I'll say, I don't have time to read all your comments, but I read all of them. I try to respond to all of them, unless someone's just being nasty, then I don't waste my time. But whether you agree or disagree, I'd love to hear what you think in the comment section. Don't forget of the sacrilegious stuff. Don't forget about the giveaway. Like, subscribe, comment, and we will see you guys this Thursday. I had the chance to sit down with a seminarian from the Diocese of Tulsa to talk about discernment, because he had to discern the priesthood. I had to discern marriage. So we kind of sat down and talked about our experiences, which was awesome. And but Luke Bland will be my guest this Thursday. It'll be premiering Thursday at 9 a.m. Central Time. We can't wait to see you guys. And again, like and subscribe, hit that alert bell so you guys know when those new videos are coming. And we will see you guys soon.